In the few years we've lived in this house, I can think of very few days I've not spent in this office. Most of those have been spent at this desk. But lately this thing just hasn't been great. So this week I'm going to transform this old Ikea desk into a home office dream. Hey everyone, Pete here from Northern Works. Now don't get me wrong, there are some good things about this desk. This desktop, that's the only thing. So I'll reuse all the best bits, but I've designed something brand new around it. I want to use up these pine boards that I've got left from a previous project. I'm trying to keep waste down as much as possible. Right, I just cut the legs to length. Well, actually a little bit oversized so I can trim them later. And now I need to work out how to cut them long ways. Of course, the problem I'm having is I need something that will clamp the piece while also giving me a straight edge to follow. Done. Let's get inside and get them assembled. Let me show you what I'm trying to do. One of my inspirations for this desk was minimalist Japanese style furniture, and that often uses kind of A-frames for a lot of the strength that they get. Simple shapes, simple woods coupled with functionality, and that's really what I'm going for with this desk. So both sides are going to have this same leg assembly, and this cross piece is going to be attached using what I think is one of the most underrated joints. And then the top will be safe in a recess sandwiched between both legs. So to fix this to those, I'm going to use a bridle joint, which I think is definitely underused in a lot of joinery that I've seen. But the end result is a pretty good looking joint, and it'll definitely be strong enough for this. I want this top piece to be the thing that's showing on the face of the leg assemblies, so I'm going to remove these side parts on here and do the inside on the legs. My last few attempts at joinery haven't been exactly what you would call fine woodworking. I've done them all wrong. Every single one of them. But hey, I've been watching a lot of YouTube, and that's what this is all about, isn't it? Practice. You know, I mentioned YouTube, and it comes across as a bit of a joke, but I really mean it. I found it incredible, the generosity that people have with their time and with their experience to share what they're doing and what they love. Man, it's so empowering, and it's just given me the confidence to try stuff. It's things like chiseling out joinery like this. I used to be really hesitant about trying it. And I think that hesitation comes from a sort of reverse perfectionism sometimes. You know, as a DIYer, often we're not going for perfection, we're going for, I've got a problem in the house, it needs to be fixed. And so a bit slapdash, a bit of rough around the edges is not a problem, but for furniture, I want to make it as good as I can possibly be. In fact, let me show you what I mean. Here's my old desk on the Ikea website. When you look at it, or any big furniture shop, you get a real sense of like perfection. You know, there's options, so you can have your perfect colour combo, your choice of perfectly matching legs. There's no imperfections in any of the materials. Even that price looks pretty perfect. But that isn't perfection, that's optimization. Look, don't get me wrong, I love Ikea, but I don't want an optimized desk. I want the perfect desk. The desk that's perfect for me. All right, let's try a the first dry fit. So I've got one that's slightly too loose and one that is slightly too tight. Well, at least I can fix this one. Right, that's the leg pieces all ready for gluing up. But before I do that, I'm going to actually cut out all of the draw box panels as well, so I can glue everything together and not get murdered for using power tools later on. Recesses into these panels for the bottom to slide into, so I'm going to use the trim router. You know what, learning to build my own furniture, it's given me such a sense of freedom and joy. I mean, I know that sounds grand, but even doing a glue up, it's something I've designed, coming together in real life. It's just cool. These have all dried overnight and they're looking good. Lots to do today though. The first thing is to cut some shelves in a drawer front. As I've trimmed those off, I've opened up lots of spaces where the joinery is not quite fit together and things have chipped out, so I'll fill those with some odds and ends and then glue them in later. After trimming the joinery, I cut recesses for the desktop and stretcher, and I also trimmed the legs to their final length. I've just split the wood. Chiseling a bit too close to the edge, I think, and it's just completely blown out. I think once that recess is gone, I'll just glue it and clamp it and leave it for a bit. Oh, it's things like this that used to stop me from even starting a project, knowing that I'd make mistakes. But I guess I've learned to embrace imperfect as something to learn from, and now it's actually exciting to get started. I'm sanding all of these joints flush, and then I'll give everything a big round over on one side with the router. Pleased with that. Let's get those shelves on. To hold these shelves in place at this end, I'm going to use this dowel and make some legs. The problem is, I don't actually know how this desk is constructed, and it might just be hollow inside. Let's find out. To keep everything lined up, I'm drilling holes for dowels. I use centre points to line everything up, and then press the pieces together and drill where the marks are. Don't like that. You won't like that. Constantly eating wood. Crazy pocket. Oh, I'm well pleased with how this is coming out. I did think this one was looking a bit wonky, but it turns out the leg just wasn't straight. so I fixed that, and it seems to have brought everything into line. Now, I do need to fit this drawer underneath here, and I think I'll just make a simple undercarriage, just screw that together because no one will see it. And then it's time for something extra special. I got myself a wireless charger. It's only from Amazon. I'll pop a link in the description. I'm going to recess it into the desk, and it'll just make life a little bit simpler. Right, pretty much finished for final sanding and finishing now, but there's something extra special I want to try first. I've seen a few people recently using a big round nose bit in the router to create patterns in like drawer fronts and cabinet fronts, and I wanted to try the same but with my little trim router. Well, that's an anticlimax. I love it. Right, all that's left is sanding and finishing. I really like the two-tone look of the original desktop, so I sanded some sections just up to 120 grit and then gave it a couple of coats of black paint. Where the wood is exposed, I went up to 280 grit and then coated it with beeswax. so excited for how this has turned out, and I've used so many new skills and techniques that it's just been great, but I'm just so excited now to get it all assembled and start using it. This thing is beautiful. I can't wait to use it, and it's been so much fun to build it. In fact, I hope it's inspired you to crack on with whatever that project is that you've been putting off. If you need some more inspiration, I think you'll like this video.